Jay. Family, being with it back in the garden, a quick live, came across something on the wire, and I want to address it. So if you don't get an opportunity to check me out in the garden live, make sure you, when you get a chance to check me out, make sure you hit the like, share, and subscribe button, and tell your friends about it. You did? I just want to come back with a quick live right now because I came across something on the wire, and this is something that's been dear to my heart for many, many years, and I can't understand how those that make the laws, which is Congress, don't recognize the blatant predatory practices of universities and colleges that give athletes scholarships. See, if you've never been on a scholarship, on an athletic scholarship, or if you've never been to college on an athletic scholarship at certain universities, then you're not going to really understand what I'm talking about. Because so many people think that once they get a college scholarship, that everything is gravy, everything is paid for, and life is grand. But the only reason I want to come back with this video is because I want to dispel the notion that college athletics, isn't predatory. And the only reason I say that because some of you guys that play video games, EA Sports, they actually right now have a collegiate video game. Now, if you don't understand what I'm talking about, the reason why I'm making this video, collegiate athletes cannot be paid. Okay, they can't make an income, or they can't, get paid by boosters, or get paid by, school officials, while on scholarship. To me, that's so oxymoronic, because how is it they can't be paid when they bring in a lot of revenue? And AA Black Pistol, I told you about that hey man stuff, but I digress. And so I just think it's kind of hypocritical that you have these millions and millions of dollars being generated by collegiate athletes, and the athletes are not able to partake on any of their profit. For many, many years now, back in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s, the whole narrative was you should be happy, be appreciative. You go into college free. Well, once you go to college free on scholarship, and you take the classes and you do what you have to do and you get out of school, if you're not marketing yourself to get a job, because remember, all school is compulsory institutions that help you or condition you to go get a job. And the mindset is the better you do in school, or the more education you receive, is pretty much indicative of your financial wealth or your financial situation, which a lot of times, which that's not on the television, that's pretty much totally opposite of what really happens. It's kind of hard to be financially, especially from a regular college perspective, to go to high school, get good grades, go to college, right? Graduate from college. And you graduate from college, and here you are, if not on scholarship, have this abundant debt called a student loan. And you got 30, 40, 50, 60, $80,000 worth of student loan debt, and you can't get a job. See how that's something's wrong with that picture. But then you talk and see, don't think that the athletes that's on scholarship fare any better. Because this whole notion that college athletes have it better than regular athletes, I think that's a misnomer. I think it's misconstrued, because college athletes, they can only be on scholarship yearly. See, those scholarships are signed yearly contracts. See, people think that once you get a scholarship, that scholarship is the duration of your 5 years or 4 years in college. That's not how they go. If you're one of the athletes that go to one of these schools like Alabama, UCLA, University of Texas, U of H, these schools that generate a lot of money, generate a lot of revenue from athletics, the students don't get paid. And the only reason I'm talking about this is because I remember being in college, being a basketball player on scholarship at Rice. I was under the impression that when I got there, that it was all going to be great. But fam, I'll be honest with you. You know, there are times that if you don't come from a wealthy background or come from a family that has put aside monies to accommodate you in college other than scholarship, because see, the scholarship only covers your room and board, your classes, your books, the meals, uh, lunch, breakfast, and dinner. But after that, you're on your own. And so on weekends, you know what I mean? I mean, if you're not at a top program where they're actually under the table paying athletes, because that's been happening for years, there's gonna be some tough times. Okay, and so when you look at you know what's going on today in California, the governor of California, Governor Newsom, has just signed into law. You know, he signed a bill that would make it legal and possible for collegiate athletes to get paid for their likeness. Now, what does that mean? That means any athlete that has a jersey in their name, uh, representing on any of these EA Sports games, then those athletes in California will get paid for that. Okay, so they're not just being exploited and taken advantage of. Now you got to ask yourself, why is it just California that recognizes this? Ken, what it do? This should be something nationwide, where every state that has a university that has collegiate sports, if that particular program is generating income from the sports, those athletes that are getting paid, those athletes that are particularly a part of that athletic program, should be getting some type of financial compensation. This is ridiculous. How is it that Congress don't even see this? We already know that, these athletes provide so much money to these colleges. How is it that they provide so much money for these colleges, but yet tuitions are rising every year? And the salaries or the wages of the family members and the parents that are taking these kids or having these kids go to college isn't doing it. So the salaries and wages are not rising with inflation or the tuition rates. But the revenue that's being generated by these athletes are rising in abundance. And that's why I say college athletics scholarships and college athletics itself is predatory. It's just like going to a bank. I equate it to a bank. A bank would say, hey, put your money in my bank, right? But I'm only going to give you 0.1% interest. But then guess what? Take my credit card and I'm going to charge you 25% interest. Huh? Brandon Mason, what do you do? Thanks for joining me in the garden. You see that? But we as consumers, we don't see that, we don't make that connection. How do we not make that connection where it becomes, we become desensitized to it. Look at your credit card statement next time. See how much that bank is charging you interest on your credit card. And then go look at your bank statement, your savings account statement, and see how much interest your bank is paying you to have your money in the bank. See the discrepancy? Look at yourself as a college athlete, and you at Alabama or UT, okay, Oklahoma, or any of these big schools that are generating mass. I mean, the University of Alabama football coach Nick Saban, he's on Geico, not Geico, but he's on Aflac commercials. So Aflac, the company, is paying a college coach monies as someone that's representing them. He's a college coach, and he's coaching kids that can't get paid. How is it even possible? I mean, how as a parent of all these college athletes, we're not going to the school, just taking our kids out of school? Because I'm telling you like this, they're risking their lives as far as basketball, risking injury, okay? All that time that you in practice you did, jeopardizing time that you should be studying. And then think about the classes that are taken. And if these classes that are taken not going to be providing them an opportunity to be successful financially from a career standpoint after they graduate, then what is fun? Brandon Mason. And I was one of those athletes because I grew up with my mom and three sisters. So when I went to college on a scholarship to Rice, Friday, Saturday, Sunday nights was kind of tough sometimes. You know what I mean? Now, throughout the week, yes, I'm fed. But if I get hungry at 10, 11 o'clock, but then you, as these athletes, you seeing the coaches, in their big homes, on commercials, getting pay raises. I mean, it's ridiculous, family. So I just kind of want to come back with that because I don't know if any of you guys understand that, it ain't just the student debt that's a ridiculous notion in America. It's the fact that they take advantage of our 18 to 21-year-olds, male and female, playing sports, kids' games value, right? And not generating income enough to pay the athletes. And speaking of my little nephew right there, X-Man, my nephew, love you, man. He's at Texas Tech. And Texas Tech is one of the schools that won national championships, one of the big schools. And I promise you, the college coaches, the administrators, their raises and their money is there. But where's the money and the resources for the athletes? You did? So, Ben, I just want to come back with a little love. And that cannot be my nephew. Wow, we got a troll in the garden. Xavier Willard, that's my nephew's name. I know that ain't him. At any rate, let me remove that and let my nephew know that someone is, or at least someone with the same name, is. I know my nephew would never say that, but I digress. All right, so it's an interesting concept. It's an interesting dynamic that this isn't larger than it should be. Congress, of course, senators and representatives don't have anything to say about it. And hey, Jasmine, and my heart goes out, right? Because it's just too often that we look at these things that's going on in society and we just let it ride, even though your subconscious is telling you that it's wrong. Okay? I mean, look at these college athletes. They don't tell our vision. Okay? They have their own college networks. Think about the amount of money that's being generated by these college athletes to these universities, and they can't get paid for nothing. Give them 10%. I mean, give them something. You did? Well, Phil, I just wanted to rant a little bit about that because, like I said, being a former college athlete and being an athlete that, at times, didn't have the resources to have that great college life because, like I said, it gets tough sometimes. But for the athletes that are being paid, man, I salute you because you're not even close to the type of money that you're making for the college. You did? All right, Phil, I'm going to get on out of here. Thanks, you guys, for joining me. AA Black Pistol, my boy. I see you tomorrow. Jasmine, thanks for joining me in the garden. Hey, Suze, what it do, man? Brandon Mason, nice being out here. Ken. I'm going to holler at you guys. And in the meantime, between time, may the Most High outside to bring you joy and being what is out of 5,000.